It's like a jungle in here. It continues. Howdy, it is June 22nd, 2023, and I'm on the east side of Saguaro National Park, the Rincon Mountain District. And I'm heading in for a 3-day backpack. Boy, it's hot out here. I think the temperature today, high down here near the trailhead, is about 103 Fahrenheit. And up at the top, about 4,500 feet of climbing up to Mica Mountain. It's gonna be probably the 70s up there. So this is very much like a sky island type of hike. See, I'm already a little bit fatigued just from the drive on in. It was a 16-mile dirt road. It was pretty bad road, and I was warned about it before coming in. And I actually saw some rangers over at the trailhead, and they actually gave me a ride in one of their ATVs to where, like where I am basically right now. So they cut off like probably half a mile from my road walk in, which is always nice. Before we get into this, I kind of want to throw a little disclaimer out there. I'm doing this hike in the middle of June. It's hot summer conditions in southern Arizona. So that means temperatures well above 100 degrees usually. This year so far, the summer has been milder than in other years. This is pretty much the last weekend before temperatures jump up into the 110 Fahrenheit plus range. Whenever I do hot desert summer hiking on camera, I always throw out a disclaimer that this is not something that you should do without the proper planning and conditioning. I have about a gallon of water on my back today, and that's gonna be just barely enough to get through this hike today. The second thing is that I do this sort of thing a lot. I do a lot of long day hikes and other backpacking trips when the temperature is above 100 degrees, and I always make sure to pre-hydrate. So my advice for people who are thinking about doing a hike like this is don't. Leave it to people like me who live out here and will show what these places are like in the middle of June. Don't use this as a guide for how to hike Saguaro National Park, because you're much, much better off doing this sort of thing in the wintertime or in springtime when there's water everywhere in the park. And yeah, anyway, that's all I have to say about that. So let's get hiking. Hey, sorry in advance about the wind noise. It is going to be windy on this trip, but I'll tell you what, the wind helps immeasurably with the heat. It does not feel that hot out here to me. Destination tonight is up on the top of that mountain. That is Mica Mountain up there. and the looks can be deceiving. That's actually quite high up from us. So again, it's a 4,500 foot climb. What a gorgeous day. That's the path that I've been walking up. Probably about 1.5 miles in. But man, I just can't believe some of the stuff ATVs can crawl up. This is super steep. Rutted. Oh, nice. View behind that last shot. Like a rugged scrubland. Okay, we finally have a single track hiking trail. Probably a good 7 to 7.5 miles to get to Manning Camp from this point. Freaking too gorgeous out here. This isn't exactly what I would call the main climb. I'm going fairly fast right now, but once I hit the main climb of that green Mica Mountain behind us, at that point I predict I'll be going about 1 mile per hour up that. We're close to 5,000 feet, and usually around this time you start seeing these manzanita bushes. So we're in transition zone, and the temperature feels slightly milder. I need more wind. The wind has been the only thing that's been keeping this somewhat pleasant. Now it's just downright furnace-y. I have made it to the Saguaro National Park boundary. Ugh, look at this barbed wire. Pretty nasty. I have been in the Rincon Mountain wilderness. Now I'm in National Park. It looks like there's a fire developing way out there. The last time anybody's been in here, so that was 12 days ago. Wow. There's that fire again. I don't think you can see it now, but for a second I was seeing this kind of orangish reddish out there. I think it was the actual flames for that fire. Tell you what, hydrating is a lot of work when it's this hot out. You're just constantly chugging down water. I see pines up there. Well, the clouds are welcome for sure. There was just a little area of trees in there where there's shade. Now I'm back out in the full sun, so it's gonna get hot again. Luckily, I got a few clouds overhead right now. Well, let's keep going up. That's bear crap. Looks a little bit old. I mean, this trail is just so well maintained. Stairs and everything. Beautiful. That's Mica Mountain up there on the left. So that's where I'm going up there on Mica Mountain. Probably another 17 or 1800 feet of climbing. I'm a little bit above 6,000 feet. It's a lot nicer up here. Suddenly it got a little bit cooler once I got a little bit above 6,000 feet. Okay, I've hit the Ponderosa Pines. Wow, check out the view. All sorts of interesting trees in here. There's that one that's like got a weird kind of L shape to it. Probably fire does that to it. Holy cow. Found some water that is nowhere near where you would expect water to be. It's a little kind of boggy spring source right here. And it's hard to see on camera. I wouldn't want to pull water from that, but I was told by the rangers that everything would be dry except for the spring at Manning Camp. And that just goes to show what a wet winter we had in 2023. Okay, that's what that is, that water right there. Well, I'm not really seeing smoke from that fire anymore. Maybe it's still smoldering, but way, 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 way out there, it's starting to clear up, which is good. Okay, let's keep climbing. The upper part of this Turkey Creek Trail is a little bit of a mess right now. Blowdowns, and I don't know if there's pine beetle infestation or what. I'm seeing the holes that you normally see from pine beetles. And looks like it's been logged recently though. Always nice. This is what people mean about Sky Island hiking. It's deserts to tall pines. It can't be more than 75 degrees up here, and it's shady. Far cry from weather from when I started. We got a little bit of brambles in here, sharp. You got orange blazes when there's snow across the trail. I'm suddenly reminded of an episode of The X-Files. You know, the one from the 1990s where Mulder and Scully go off into, it's like somewhere in the Pacific Northwest, like Oregon or Washington or something. And the theme is eco-terrorism and environmentalism and our impact on the nature. And this logging company up there decides to go and start cutting marked trees that are old growth forests. And in doing so, they release some ancient like life form. So they will cocoon their prey like whole people. And yeah, it's kind of funny because I think I actually have like the whole first season of the X-Files downloaded on my phone right now, and I'm gonna watch that episode probably tonight in my tent. But anyway, we are at another trail junction. I've had several I didn't show on camera. I think we're taking the switchback trail this direction, going up here. We want this. Manning Camp, 1.8 miles. I'm nearly there. is the last switchback here. I see a sign up there. Huh. Like a little Slick Rock Canyon thing. Let's go check it out. Looks like this would hold water, and it is holding water. That's really interesting. Just a little bit of water in there. Nice view of Rincon Peak out there. Catalina Nice or something. I think that's the mineral name. Pretty cool. Huh. Okay. That's pretty. This is the high point of today's hike. We're at about 8,300 feet, and pretty good view of Rincon Peak back there. Steep little descent down to Manning Camp. Some structures. I believe that's the spring over there where I'm gonna get water from. Okay, I'm at Manning Camp. This is where I'm gonna spend a couple of nights. This is site number 3. It seems to be the most remote, like on its own site of the ones that I found. It's quite nice. And there's a bathroom right there. So at the Manning Camp cabin, there's like 5 or 6 national park ranger like employees up there, like kind of set up a base of operations up there. So there's people around, and there's bear boxes. So there's amenities here, and so this to me is like luxurious backpacking from what I'm used to. And the camp is set up. Let's go find the Manning Camp spring. Here's the water. See a little waterfall. This is pretty cool. There's my tent. There's a jet up there somewhere. Meant to make dinner before dark, but I spent so much time videoing what was out there. So on tonight's menu, it is sweet pork and rice. Delicious. Love this one. Let's take a look-see here. Yep, it's a freeze-dried meal. All right, timer has gone off. Let's check our work. It appears to be slop, pure, unadulterated slop, but it's delish. Today was a beautiful, crazy difficult hike. I was about 4,500 feet of elevation gain over like 9.5 miles. It started out hot, I mean really hot, like close to 100. Very sunny the whole time. The only way I got through it was I had about a gallon of water on me, and it got pretty windy. And that just makes all the difference in the world. When you have the wind to cool you off, when you sweat, it's like nature's swamp cooler. So yeah, once I got above 6,000 feet, it was actually awesome. It suddenly got a lot cooler. Clouds rolled in. So it was like there was almost like 2 hikes today. Anyway, I'm gonna tuck into this sweet pork and rice now, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay, while the coffee's going, I'm gonna make my delicious cereal. It's a muesli with powdered milk, and then there's, I think, raisins, dates, and apricots, and nuts. Okay, so today I'm gonna leave my camp set up, and I'm gonna go day hike around to the north slope of Mica Mountain, and then I'm gonna loop back around to the fire loop and get up to like the top of Mica Mountain. I think it's around 8,600 feet or so. That'll be the high point of this whole hike, and then I'll be heading back down this direction back to camp. I think it's around 7 to 7.5 miles for this little day hike. So here we go. So fun fact, this trail I'm on right now is called Cowhead Saddle Trail. If you go back about 2 or 3 videos before this one on my channel, I did a trip out here called the Tanky Verde Loop. And that was pretty much my loop around point, was the other end of this trail. at Cowhead Saddle, and then you could make your way down to Douglas Springs or Juniper Basin via like Tinky Verde Ridge from there. But today I am going to be turning off on the north slope and staying up high where it's nice and cool up here. This is my loop around point for today's hike. So I'm going to be taking the north slope trail to the left, and I'll be coming back on this fire loop trail. Ooh. Here we go. I believe that there is Helen's Dome. Really interesting rock formations that get revealed through the pines out here. There's Tucson, Mount Wrightson in the distance. Really hard to see in this shot, but the Santa Catalina Mountains are way out there. There's Mount Lemmon. If you look closely out in the distance, you can see Saguaro National Park, the west unit, and Tucson Mountain Park. Somebody remind me to do a tick check when I get back to camp. Here's a shot of the Reddington Pass area, which is the high saddle in between the Rincons, Saguaro, and the Catalinas, or Mount Lemon. Ooh, it looks like a lot of this kind of stuff in our future. Oh, it's not as fun. Yikes. What's cool about this view is you can see Romero Pass like right behind and to the left of these rocks in the foreground. And I was just out on a trip about a month ago over there, hiking down that same kind of low point out in the Catalinas. Yeah, this North Slope trail is a bit overgrown. I probably wouldn't do it again until it's been cleared. Lots of it has been slow going. Lots of like tall ferns. Some of them have been as tall as me. They're quite dense. You can't see the trail tread at times. You're hanging off the side of the mountain a lot of the time when you're walking through it. It's like a jungle in here. I don't know if those are bees. I think those are carpenter bees you're hearing. Crazy overgrown here. it continues. Who knows how long this continues for. Holy crap. Hey, all that through there was an extreme bushwhack. I mean, walking through trees basically, like into them. The bushwhacking continues. Oh man, I did not expect this today. It was supposed to be a lively, easy jaunt through the forest. This section's pretty good. I've not been filming much of the bushwhacking sections because they're a pain to film. They're already a pain to hike. So, yeah. I'm making my way still along the North Slope Trail though. So as you can see, there's barely any real trail tread left. It resembles, to me, like a lot of cross-country routes do, where there's a path, but you almost would guess whether it was an animal trail or not. Oh, this is significantly better. Ooh, oh, cave. Check this out. Kind of a meadow up here. Would make for a good camping area if that sort of thing were allowed by the park. We got more of this. The Fern Gully. Okie dokie. So this is our point where we start looping, so I'm gonna go up there. I'm walking off the trail real quick here. Looks like there's a cool scenic viewpoint up here. We've passed by the Catalinas. So this is kind of the northern end of Saguaro and the Recon Mountains. Out there right now in the distance, in the foreground is the Gailotos Wilderness and Redfield Canyon. And then Mount Graham is the tall one in the distance behind it. This is what I was hoping for when I came out here. Wide sweeping vistas. Well, looky what we got here. He topped out in elevation. It's a fairly nondescript summit. There's a little benchmark over here, but I didn't even know I was approaching any kind of high point. So here's the benchmark. Looks like this was put in here 1938. The only thing else of note up on Mica Mountain is there's like looks like a weather station. One of those RAWs things, RAWSs, I think that's what these are called. Yeah, it's probably just transmitting wind and precip, humidity, temperature data, one of those things. I am now on the downhill part. I think it's pretty much all downhill from here. I think I only got 2 to 2.5 miles back to my campsite via the Fire Loop Trail. This up here is called Spud Rock. Yep. Spud Rock. Well, back to camp. Today's hike was actually pretty difficult. It took me like 5 hours. I was expecting it to take no later than 4, and that includes filming. Normally, if I don't film a hike, something like that would take 3 to 3.5 hours. I'd hike it much faster. But what really slowed me down was that North Slope trail. It was really pretty views, but it was very overgrown with like ferns and brambles and down trees. So it's just really slow going. Bone apple tea. Okay, for dinner, I've got this homemade burrito bowl. This is home dehydrated pinto beans. There's minute rice in it. And then there's this freeze-dried cheese. I think it's the Nutristore brand freeze-dried cheese. I'd love to be able to make dehydrated cheese myself, but I tried it and it just gets all oily. It doesn't work. You have to buy freeze-dried. And there's a ton of seasonings in it. And in that, I'm going to be putting this. This I tried recently, and it works really, really well. Organic shredded beef. I found this at a Whole Foods. I'd never seen it anywhere before. And yeah, so it's going to be good. And then, because this is a deluxe burrito bowl, I have this little container full of cherry tomatoes. So this is going to be good. This is a pot koozie meal. So, off with the koozie. Been about 15 minutes or so. I usually put a little bit of Valentina hot sauce as well. It's beefy, cheesy, beany, tomatoey. I love it. All right, well, that's gonna be the end of day 2. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Good morning. It's early. Plan today is to head down Heartbreak Ridge to the Miller Canyon Trail. So it's the same ridge that goes out to Rincon Peak. It's quite a long ways until it gets to Miller Canyon, Miller Creek. And yeah, we're gonna take Miller Creek down. I hear Miller Creek is a difficult trail. In fact, horses are not allowed on it, if that tells you anything. So it's gonna be a hot and steep hike back to the car, about 4,500 feet of elevation loss. All right, so here's the creek for Manning Camp Spring, and it actually has water kind of pooled in it across the trail, which is more water than I would have expected in the middle of June, which is our driest season. And yeah, there is water all throughout here. Eventually here I'm going to connect up with Heartbreak Ridge Trail. That's going to take me down to kind of the base of Rincon Peak. So there's kind of like a saddle there, and at that saddle is our last junction that we'll be taking that kind of difficult and steep Miller Creek trail back down to the car. Oh, maybe that's why it's called the Devil's Bathtub. I don't know if I can actually see it from here. I think that's what it's supposed to be. It's just a giant pour off. Maybe there's a pool down there, but I can't really see it from here. The drainage further down looks dry to me. Devil's Bathtub Trail. Here, let's take a closer look off trail a bit here. Oh. Huh. Cool. It'd be fun to see this when it's flowing, but it's not. Neat. That area up there is where I came from. I mean, basically the other side of that ridge up there. So I've been hiking on Heartbreak Ridge for a while now. I think this is also called the East Slope Trail. At least that's what the sign said, but it's the same trail that I was meant to come back on. So just a couple miles away from that Miller Creek Trail. There hasn't really been a ton to see on this trail because it's mostly been densely forested. And that out there is the Turkey Creek Ridge that I climbed up on day one. It's not all downhill. Pretty sweet view of Tucson out there. And you can see Tinky Verde Ridge now, way out there. And that out there is Mica Mountain. We kind of traversed down all of that so far. I'm probably about halfway done with the hike. And I just hiked up this section right here. So it's been kind of uphill. And I'm actually going down that side of the ridge where my car is. Still just right below 7,000 feet, and it started to get really hot all of a sudden. So it's gonna be kind of a hellish descent. There's the trailhead. I think it's kind of switchbacking around now. So I'm gonna go down into that low spot, like in front of Rincon Peak. And I think the Miller Creek Trail is gonna go through there and pop out in that basin. And that's where the trailhead is. Because it's switchbacking around, looks like we're actually gonna have a pretty good view of Tinky Verde Ridge. Go take a look off trail of the scenic lookout. Okay, so maybe able to see the trail down there. That's where I'm going. Down into that basin. It's called Happy Valley. Just climbed down from off those rocks. Bunch of switchbacks. This is, of course, as always, taking longer to descend than I expected it to, mainly actually because of taking video. But it still has been kind of slow going because it was more uphill than I bargained for. But I think that's all pretty much done. I think it's pretty much all downhill through hot kind of woodland oak scrub, and then eventually into like the high desert. I think my car is down at about 4,300 feet elevation, and we're still at close to 7,000, maybe 6,800 feet now. Sweet, sweet shade. It'll be short-lived. Has almost a Sedona or like Mogollon Rim sort of vibe to it right now. Looks like another scenic viewpoint over here. Let's go check it out. Man, what a place. Way out there in those kind of yellowish gold kind of hills, that's where the Turkey Creek Trail is I took up on day one. And all this up here is Heartbreak Ridge that I descended. So I guess this is the Miller Creek drainage. Pretty dry and bouldery. Yikes. Oh. It's mostly been kind of densely forested on Miller Creek Trail, but occasionally you get these eye-popping views, these rock formations. Kind of a little bit steep through here. Gorgeous views. Like seriously, what is up with this trail? You look at the elevation profile and it just looks all downhill, but you get these little spots that are just unexpectedly steep. Okay, I guess that wasn't Miller Creek. I think we're about to descend into Miller Creek now. Trailhead's out there somewhere. Man, today's hot. I am just about down to the bottom of Miller Creek, and from there it's just a kind of a dry creek bed walk back to the car. It is really, really hot, and I'm just ready to be done, so I don't think I'm gonna film a whole lot more after this shot. This is what Miller Creek itself looks like in June. It's pretty dry, and there's tons and tons, whoa, and there's tons and tons of big horseflies. So again, probably not the best time to be coming out on this trail in summer. Okay, we are back. Man, that was an awfully difficult hike. I enjoyed it because of the challenge. I like challenging hikes, but I would not recommend people come out here and do this in June. Absolutely not. It's just too hot. There's too many risks. And I've been doing this a long time. I know what I'm doing with these hot desert hikes, and this was kind of extreme even for me, and I probably wouldn't do this time of year again. So yeah, that's my thoughts for this trip. But I really enjoy camping up at Manning Camp and getting up into the high country and just enjoying the pine forest. So anyway, that's gonna be the end of this video. Like if you like, and subscribe for more. See you next time.